Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. There is two interesting halachas that we do, and it's, some might think it's borderline superstitious, but there's a base for this in halacha. There's some mucker for this in halacha, not some, a real mucker in halacha, and there is a nice discussion about this topic. One of them is in Hilchas Mila, and one of them is in Hilchas tefilin. And we know when we put on tefillin, there are different customs of how many times to wrap around your finger, around your arm, how to wrap, what direction, etc., etc. But it's common that somehow throughout the wrappings of the tefillin on your arm, you spell out the letters Shin, Dalid, and then Yud, which is one of Hashem's names. So by some, the custom is that you place you tie three times around your arm here, and that's the Shin, the Dalid, and the Yud on the tefillin. Others do it other ways, but somehow in the wrapping of the tefillin we do a Shin, Dalid, Yud. That's in Hilchas tefillin. In Hilchas Bris Mila, you find something very interesting. The Beis Yosef writes in Siman Reish Samachei that during the ceremony of the Bris Mila, we say the bracha, and then there's one part where during the brachas, the moyel puts some wine, drops of wine, in the baby's mouth. And that's when you say, B'damayich chayi, you live with the blood, keeps you alive. So the Beis Yosef writes over there, Shamaiti, I heard that when the moyel does that, he drops the wine in, he should make a tzura. He should spell out also the letters Shin, Dalid, Yud. As he's doing that with his fingers, as he's putting the wine in the baby's mouth, he should somehow spell out the letters Shin, Dalid, Yud, which is Hashem's name. How does the moyel do this? So the Yavitz explains that this is how it should be done. He puts some wine on his finger, and while he drops in the first drop, as he drops in the wine to the baby's mouth, he should have three fingers, so it's the Shin. Then he moves out the two fingers and leaves over one finger a little bent, which is the Dalid, and then just a drop of the little finger, which would be Yud, so it's Shin, Dalid, Yud again. All right, beautiful. It's Hashem's name. By a mezuzah we say it's Shin, Dalid, again Yud, because Shomer Dal Sis Yisrael. It's a special protection. All that. But there's actually a fascinating discussion. The Munkatcher Rebbe, in his Sefer Ois Chaim V'Sholem, brings from a Sefer Shalmei Tzibur, that he says, I'm bothered by these two customs. Because if you're going to make Hashem's name as you wrap the tefillin, how could you unwrap the tefillin? At the end of davening, how do you roll it back together? God forbid, you're erasing Hashem's name. It's like having Hashem's name spelled out, and then you're erasing it, which is a terrible transgression, terrible Isser in the Torah. How could you do that? So the Sefer Shalmei Tzibur says, I'm against doing these things. And he sort of compares it to a different halacha. The different halacha is in Hilchas Shabbos. In Hilchas Shabbos, we know you're not allowed to erase. You're not allowed to write letters, and you're not allowed to erase words or letters. What's the definition of erasing? You think it means taking an eraser and crossing it out? No. If there are letters spelled out on the pages of a book, in many cases, if you open up the book, you're erasing the letters. So the same, and that's why a lot of poskim hold you can't open up a book that has letters painted on the outside of the pages of the book. So if that's how it is in Hilchas Shabbos, why over here do we allow somebody to unwrap what he has spelled out, Shin, Dalid, and then Yud, which is even worse. It's not only a question of erasing a letter in Hilchas Shabbos, it's erasing Hashem's name. And the Minchas Elazar disagrees totally with this question. He says, what are you talking about? There is nowhere, not in Hilchas Mila, and not the way it's done by the Mila, and not the way it's done by the tefillin, that you actually spell out the three letters one after another, shin, dalet, and then yud. The shin is here, the dalet is here, the yud is on the bias. It's not spelled out. The three letters are not next to each other. If they would be spelled out and written one next to each other, the three letters, you're right. You might have a problem with that. That by undoing it, it's erasing Hashem's name. But because they're so far apart, it's a symbolic belief or symbolic action that we are doing to bring Hashem's Shin Daled Yud presence here, or as a special protection. So therefore, because the letters are not so close to each other, to undo it would not be a problem.